jets, amongst several other weapons of warfare, have become an essential aspect of the defense system of many nations all over the globe. Their significant role and capabilities for conducting aerial combat, penetrating enemy air defenses without being spotted, ground attack, and air dominance superiority missions and roles has changed the dynamics of modern warfare. After a thorough scrutiny of the millions of fighter jets that have been developed, the capability of some have made them outstanding. What makes these fighters unique amongst others? What country has the most advanced weapons? Join us as we delve deeper into the details of the top 10 most powerful fighter jets in history. F-22 Raptor. The F-22 Raptor is an American single-seat, twin-engine stealth tactical fighter aircraft that can work effectively regardless of the weather. It was developed for the United States Air Force and the company that was in charge of developing this masterpiece, Lockheed Martin. This company also built most of the F-22's airframe, weapon systems, and conducted final assembly, while Boeing provided the wings, aft fuselage, avionics integration, and training systems. The aircraft had its first flight in 1997 and was designated as F-22 and FA-22 before it formally entered service in December 2005 as the F-22A. This fighter jet has the capability to attack surface targets. In the air-to-ground configuration, it can carry two 1,000-pound GBU-32 Joint Direct Attack munitions internally and use onboard avionics for navigation and weapons delivery support. The Raptor will also carry two AIM-120s and two AIM-9s in the air-to-ground configuration. The F-22 has become a very important part of the United States Air Force's tactical air power because the fighter's combination of stealth, aerodynamic performance, and mission systems, all of which makes it a major achievement in terms of air combat capabilities. F-35 Lightning II. This fighter jet also belongs to the American family of single-seated, single-engine, and all-weather stealth multi-role combat aircraft that was designed to perform both air superiority and strike missions effectively. The multi-role F-35 family includes three variants: the F-35A conventional takeoff and landing variant, the F-35B short takeoff vertical landing variant, and the F-35C carrier variant. These variants are all capable and feature the same avionics, allowing armed forces to achieve specific mission capability. The F-35 had its first flight in the year 2006, entered service with the U.S. Marine Corps in 2015, followed by the United States Air Force in 2016 and the U.S. Navy in 2019. The aircraft was used in its first combat in 2018 by the Israeli Air Force. This fighter will be a cornerstone of NATO and the United States Allied air power and is expected to operate until 2070. Stealth is a very important factor in the fighter jet's design, and the radar cross-section is reduced by making sure the airframe is carefully shaped and also making use of radar-absorbent materials that would help reduce the radar cross-section, including alignment of the edges, separation of the skin panels, and masking of the engine face and turbine. Also, the F-35 possesses a diverterless supersonic inlet that makes use of a compression bump and a forward-swept cowl rather than using a splitter gap or breed system to layer away from the inlet's duct. It helps to eliminate the diverter cavity and further reduces radar signature. The radar cross-section of the aircraft is said to be lower than a metal golf ball at some frequencies and angles. In some scenarios, the F-35 can also be compared to the F-22 in terms of its stealthy capabilities. The fighter jet can be easily maintained, and this makes it similar to the maintainability of the F-22. The F-35's radar-absorbent material is more durable and doesn't need extreme maintenance, unlike older versions. The noise from the F-35 caused concerns in residential areas near potential bases for the aircraft and residents near two such bases, Luke Air Force Base, Arizona, and Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, requested environmental impact studies in 2008 and 2009, respectively. Although the noise levels in decibels were comparable to those of prior fighters such as the F-16, the F-35 sound power is stronger majorly at lower frequencies. Recent studies have indicated that the noise of the F-35 is not different from the F-16 and F/A-18E/F, though the greater low-frequency noise was noticeable for some observers. The Sukhoi Su-57. This aircraft is a Russian twin-engine stealth multi-role fighter aircraft that was developed by Sukhoi. The Su-57 is the first aircraft in Russian military service designed with stealth technology and is intended to be the basis for a family of stealth combat aircraft. The first prototype aircraft flew in 2010 and entered service with the Russian Aerospace Forces in December 2020. It is a multi-role fighter capable of aerial combat as well as ground and maritime strike. The Su-57 incorporates stealth designs, super maneuverability, super speed abilities, integrated avionics, and substantial internal payload capacity. The aircraft is expected to surpass the MiG-29 and Su-27 in the Russian military service and has also been marketed for export. In the Su-57's design, Sukhoi used the Lockheed Martin F-22 design as the baseline for a super maneuverable stealth fighter. The fighter is expected to be in service for up to 35 years. The Sukhoi's internal designation for the aircraft is T-50, which makes it the first aircraft in Russian military service that is designed with stealth technology, which is intended to be the basis for a family of stealth combat aircraft. It is a fifth-generation multi-role fighter capable of aerial combat, as well as ground and maritime strike. The Su-57 incorporates stealth, super maneuverability, super cruise, integrated avionics, and large internal payload capacity. The fighter jet propulsion system relies on the NPO Lyulka Saturn 117 engines, also known as AL-41F1. These augmented turbofans provide significant thrust and incorporate full authority digital engine control, enhancing maneuverability and handling in the aircraft's flight control system. The engine is also an upgraded version of the AL-31, delivering impressive dry thrust, afterburner thrust, and emergency power. The close relationship to the Su-35S's engine lays emphasis on their shared design with a distinct engine control system. F-15 Eagle. The McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle is an American twin-engine, all-weather tactical fighter aircraft that was developed by McDonnell Douglas but is now a part of Boeing. Following reviews of proposals, the United States Air Force selected McDonnell Douglas's design in 1969 to meet the service's need for a dedicated air superiority fighter. The Eagle engaged in its first flight in July 1972 and entered service in 1976. It is among the most successful modern fighters, with over 100 victories and no losses in aerial combat. A variety of air-to-air weapons can be carried by the F-15. Also, an automated weapon system enables the pilot to release weapons effectively and safely, using the head-up display and the avionics and weapons controls located on the engine throttles or control stick. When the pilot changes from one weapon system to another, visual guidance for the selected weapon automatically appears on the head-up display. This jet can be equipped with combinations of 4 different air-to-air weapons, which are the AIM-7F/M Sparrow missiles or AIM-120 AMRAAM advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles on its lower fuselage corners, AIM-9L/M Sidewinder, or AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles on 2 pylons under the wings, and an internal 20mm M61 Vulcan Gatling gun in the right wing root. Mikoyan MiG-35. The MiG-35 is a Russian multi-role fighter that is designed by Mikoyan, a division of the United Aircraft Corporation. According to a Russian defense industry source, Mikoyan MiG-35 is essentially an upgraded variant of MiG-29KR. Mikoyan first officially presented the MiG-35 internationally during the 2017 Moscow Air Show. Later, the first 2 serial production aircraft entered service in 2019. The fighter has really advanced avionics and weapon systems compared to early variants. The new AESA radar and the optical locator system make the aircraft less dependent on ground-controlled interception systems and able to conduct independent multi-role missions. MiG-35 is the first Russian aircraft to be fitted with an active electronically scanned array radar. There are two versions of MiG-35. The single-seat version is designated MiG-35s and the two-seat version MiG-35UP. The fighter jet is powered by two Fades RD-33MK Morskaya OSA turbofans. The RD-33 is a highly improved variant and the latest version of the Klimov RD-33 turbofan and was intended to power the MiG-29 and MiG-29 Cubby. It has 7% more power than when compared to the baseline model due to the use of modern materials in the cooled blades, providing a higher thrust of 9,000 Newton. In response to earlier criticism, the new engines are smokeless and include systems that reduce infrared and optical visibility. According to episode 160 of the Russian military documentary film Combat Approved, plans for a thrust vectoring variant of MiG-35 were cancelled due to increased weight ratio and the need to reduce costs. A previously planned thrust vectoring MiG-35 variant was planned to include thrust vectoring nozzles that could direct thrust on two different axes. But Rosoboronexport also stated that, at customers' request, the engine may be equipped with a thrust vectoring nozzle. Boeing FA-18E and FA-18F Super Hornet. They are a twin-engine carrier that is a capable multi-role fighter aircraft variant based on the McDonnell Douglas F/A-18 Hornet. The FA-18E and FA-18F variants are larger and more advanced derivatives of the FA-18C and D Hornet. The initial combat action of Super Hornet was seen in November 2002 when they participated in a strike on hostile targets in the no-fly zone in Iraq. The Super Hornet has an internal 20mm M61 rotary cannon and can carry air-to-air missiles and air-to-surface weapons. Additional fuel can be carried in up to 5 external fuel tanks, and the aircraft can be configured as an airborne tanker by adding an external air-to-air refueling system. The fighter is an attack aircraft as well as a fighter through selected use of external equipment and advanced networking capabilities to accomplish specific missions. The Super Hornet is largely a new aircraft at about 20% larger, 7,000 pounds heavier empty weight, and 15,000 pounds heavier maximum weight than the original Hornet. The Super Hornet carries 33% more internal fuel, increasing mission range by 41% and endurance by 50% over the legacy Hornet. The empty weight of the Super Hornet is about 11,000 pounds less than that of the F-14 Tomcat which it replaced, while approaching but not matching the F-14's payload and range. Being significantly heavier than the legacy Hornet, the catapult and arresting system has to be set differently. To aid safe flight operations and prevent confusion in radio calls, the Super Hornet is informally referred to as the Rhino to distinguish it from earlier Hornets. The Super Hornet, unlike the previous Hornet, can be equipped with an aerial refueling system or buddy store for the refueling of other aircraft, filling the tactical airborne tanker role the Navy had lost with the retirement of the KA-6D and Lockheed S-3B Viking tankers. The ARS includes an external 330 US gallon tank with hose reel on the center line, along with 4 external 480 US gallon tanks and internal tanks, for a total of 29,000 pounds of fuel on the aircraft. On typical missions, a fifth of the air wing is dedicated to the tanker role, which consumes aircraft fatigue life expectancy faster than other missions. It mostly makes use of JP-4 jet fuel. Dassault Rafale, the Eurofighter Typhoon, is a European multinational twin-engine Canard Delta Wing multi-role fighter. The Eurofighter prototype made its maiden flight on the 27th of March 1994. The aircraft's name, Typhoon, was adopted in September 1998, and the first production contracts were also signed that year. The fighter entered operational service in 2003 and is now in service with the air forces of Austria, Italy, Germany, the United Kingdom, Spain, Saudi Arabia, and Oman. Kuwait and Qatar have also ordered the aircraft, bringing the procurement total to 623 aircraft as of 2019. Typhoon is a highly agile aircraft designed to be an effective dogfighter in combat. Later production aircraft have been increasingly better equipped to undertake air-to-surface strike missions and to be compatible with an increasing number of different armaments and equipment, including Storm Shadow, Brimstone, and Meteor missiles. The Rafale was developed as a modern jet fighter with a very high level of agility. Dassault chose to combine a delta wing with active close-coupled canard to maximize maneuverability. The aircraft is capable of withstanding from minus 3.6 grams to 9 grams. The Rafale is an aerodynamically unstable aircraft and uses digital fly-by-wire flight controls to artificially enforce and maintain stability. The aircraft's canards also act to reduce the minimum landing speed to 115 knots while in flight. Air speeds as low as 15 knots have been observed during training missions. According to simulations by Dassault, the Rafale has sufficient low-speed performance to operate from stow-bar-configured aircraft carriers and can take off using a skyjump with no modifications. Although not a full-aspect stealth aircraft, the cost of which was viewed as unacceptably excessive, the Rafale was designed for a reduced radar cross-section and infrared signature. In order to reduce the RCS, changes from the initial technology demonstrator include a reduction in the size of the tail fin, fuselage reshaping, repositioning of the engine air inlets underneath the aircraft's wing, and the extensive use of composite materials and serrated patterns for the construction of the trailing edges of the wings and canard. 70% of the Rafale's surface area is composite. Many of the features designed to reduce the Rafale's visibility to threats remain classified. Chengdu Zhou-20, China's fifth-generation stealth fighter, operational since 2017, features an insane speed of Mach 2.5 plus, a combat range of 1,242 miles, and advanced avionics. It is also designed with radar cross-section reduction for stealth capability. The J-20 has a long and blended fuselage with a chiseled nose section and a frameless canopy. Immediately behind the cockpit are low observable diverterless supersonic inlet intakes. All moving canard surfaces with pronounced dihedral are placed behind the intakes, followed by leading edge extensions merging into the delta wing with forward-swept trailing edges. The aft section has twin outward canted all-moving fins, short but deep ventral strakes, and conventional or low observable engine exhausts. One important design criterion for the J-20 is high instability. This requires sustained pitch authority at a high angle of attack, in which a conventional tailplane would lose effectiveness due to stalling. On the other hand, a canard can deflect opposite to the angle of attack, avoiding stall and thereby maintaining control. A canard design is also known to provide good supersonic performance, excellent supersonic and transonic turn performance, and improved short-field landing performance compared to the conventional delta wing design. Leading edge extension and body lift are incorporated to enhance performance in a canard layout. This combination is said by the designer to generate 1.2 times the lift of an ordinary canard delta and 1.8 times more lift than an equivalent-sized pure delta configuration. The developer of this fighter claimed that this type of combination allows the use of a smaller wing that reduces supersonic drag without compromising transonic lift-to-drag characteristics that are crucial to the aircraft's turn performance. The use of a bubble canopy, extensive flight control surfaces, and canard configuration for angle of attack control indicates J-20's intention to operate in air superiority missions and within visual range engagements. Chief Test Pilot Li Gang describes the J-20 as having comparable maneuverability to the Chengdu J-10 while being significantly better at low observable performance. The J-20 is a multi-role air superiority fighter with the interceptor role being just one of the options. Saab JAS-39 Gripen. The Gripen is a multi-role fighter aircraft, which was intended as a lightweight and agile aerial platform with advanced, highly adaptable avionics. It has canard control surfaces that contribute a positive lift force at all speeds, while the generous lift from the delta wing compensates for the rear stabilizer, producing negative lift at high speeds, increasing induced drag. Being intentionally unstable and employing digital fly-by-wire flight controls to maintain stability removes many flight restrictions, improves maneuverability, and reduces drag. The Gripen also has good short takeoff performance, being able to maintain a high sink rate and strengthen to withstand the stresses of short landings. A pair of air brakes are located on the sides of the rear fuselage. The canards also angle downward to act as air brakes and decrease landing distance. It is capable of flying at a 70-80 degrees angle of attack. To enable the Gripen to have a long service life, roughly 50 years, Saab designed it to have low maintenance requirements. Major systems such as the RM-12 engine and PS-05/A radar are modular to reduce operating cost and increase reliability. The Gripen was designed to be flexible so that newly developed sensors, computers, and armaments could be integrated as technology advances. The aircraft was estimated to be roughly 67% sourced from Swedish or European suppliers and 33% from the United States. One key aspect of the Gripen program that Saab have always tried to emphasize is that it has been in technology transfer agreements and industrial partnerships with export customers. The Gripen is typically customized to customer requirements, enabling the routine inclusion of local suppliers in the manufacturing and support processes. A number of South African firms provide components and systems, including the communications suite and electronic warfare systems for the Gripens, operated by the South African Air Force. Operators also have access to the Gripen's source code and technical documentation, allowing for upgrades and new equipment to be independently integrated. Some export customers intend to domestically reassemble this fighter jet. It has also been proposed that Brazilian aerospace manufacturer Embraer may produce Gripens for other export customers as well. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.